Welcome, Tony.
Hello, how you doing?
Excellent. Tony is going to be one of 32 authors at the Fall Book Festival taking place on October 18th inside the historic Greer Depot in downtown Greer, South Carolina. I am so excited to have you and tell us about your book.
Well, I was retired as an educator, and I thought after I retired, I thought, well, I'll write something. I've got degrees. I'm smart. I'll write something smart. Well, what came out was not smart. It was snarky. So I ended up with this book, which is LEAP,
Okay.
L-E-A-P.
Mhm.
It stands for Lynn's Emerging Adult Plan. And it's a book about a young girl who's 15 going on 16, going into high school. Um, and she's trying to grow up. She knows she needs to grow up, but she has a mother, but she doesn't have a mother who helps because her mother's an alcoholic.
Okay.
Doesn't She has an older brother, and she has not told her friends what her issues are. So she's trying to figure it out on her own. And that's the hard part, you know. She's living with alcoholism. I wanted to get that across,
Mhm.
and I wanted to get across the steps that it takes that children are expected to grow up, and we sort of expect that they do that right away, you know, like, oh well,
Mhm.
you're now 14, you're grown up, you've got it. But really, what she found out as she was doing this is that her parents haven't really grown up yet. They think they have, they say they have, but
Mhm.
they haven't. So there's kind of two groups that I'm speaking to. I'm
Mhm.
speaking to teens who are trying to grow up in a tough situation. And I'm also speaking to their parents saying, you've got to give these kids some space.
Mhm.
You can't just expect them to be happy go lucky and grow up just automatically overnight. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen for us.
Mhm.
It's not happening for them. So, therefore, the tagline on this that says growing up would be easier if parents would do it first. And I'm very proud of the fact that this, even though this is my first book, it won
Mhm.
an award. It won a Moonbeam Award.
Nice.
It won the bronze medal for YA difficult topics. So I
Mm.
feel pretty good about that.
Yes. Most
Even though
definitely.
there is humor in it,
Mhm.
and I want people to recognize the humor because I worked hard to get the humor in there. Um, it's if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. So that's what I did was I tried to laugh. I tried to show people something funny.
So what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I was really inspired by my younger brother
Mm.
who and I have this sort of in the book a little bit in terms of the intro. When I was 22 and finishing up college, I decided I was going to leave the house, and I was leaving my then 8-year-old brother in the
Mm.
clutches of a maniac. So I told people that I was going to get him some help before I left, contact Al Anon or something
Mhm.
like that. And I was told by a couple of people that if I did that, my mother would commit suicide, that it would be my fault.
Oof.
She would fall apart and, not be able to deal with this. So I, being the chicken that I was, didn't do anything and I
Mm.
left. So I felt bad about my brother for years
Mhm.
because I had left him to have to deal with her on his own. And So it was really for him that I wrote the book.
Mhm.
It was kind of, I became a teacher for years and I taught middle grades, which was the
Oh.
age that Joe was at the time.
Mhm.
So, when I left. So I tried to help when I could, but I didn't really. So I decided I was going to do what I could now.
Mhm.
And, it was nice because at the book launch, he came up to me and he said, I'm okay. Okay. Just so you know, I'm okay. But anyhow, so that was really, Joe was my motivation throughout.
So, did you do this as an outline? Did you plot it? Or are you more of a pantser and you just sat down and wrote?
Yeah, I'm kind of, I try to plot. I
Okay.
know I should plot, but and I give a basic outline and then I just sit down and write and it turns out the way completely different. So, I'm more, I'd say I'm kind of a combination, but I'm a more of a pantser than anything. Yes,
It's
I
always
just don't have
it's
I don't have the, ability to concentrate on plot.
okay.
I've gotta get to the writing.
I I am more of a pantser myself, so I completely understand.
Good, good.
But it's always interesting to see which authors go more for plotting versus pantsing. And I'll have to go back through and take a tally to see which one we have more
Yeah,
of. But I think it's pretty much almost 50-50. I hear a lot from both sides of that aisle, whether they're plotters or pantsers,
mhm.
and
Yeah, I know I always taught my students to make significant outlines, but I'm really bad at it. I hate to admit it, but I'm really bad at it, and I don't do it well, so
what subjects did you teach?
I taught language arts mostly, reading and writing, of course. Um, it was funny because I taught it for teachers, and I often took a thing that my son had written and had them grade it on the first night of class for the writing
Mm,
classes. And very few of them ever asked what the assignment was. So they didn't like the way he wrote, and he wrote out, it was very, very graphic.
okay.
And they didn't like that, so they knocked him down for it. And I said, "But you didn't ask what the assignment was. The assignment was to use graphic language, and he did that." So
Oh.
it was always interesting. I used to abuse my own children so horribly, but I would take my daughter's test scores, and black out her name and her sex and her age, and
Mhm.
then I would give it to them and ask them to write a letter to the parents. And they would always write he because she was good at math and science.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I'd be like, why did you assume this was a he? There is nothing in there to say that it's a male. And they're like, well, he's good at math and science. I'm like, yes, she is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
So
my kids took the brunt of everything. I think once I told my son to lay down on some butcher paper and I was outlining him and he said, "Don't go there." That's all he said. And I said, "You never asked me what it was for." And he said, "It's for school." So
he knew.
he knew.
He knew. Um, so this is your first book. Do you have other books that you're gonna
I
that
have
are in
one,
progress?
yeah, I have one right now that has been bought and is with I have an option on it with a publisher.
Mhm.
and they're going to tell me when it's ready, but they haven't told me yet, and they haven't given me it back to do any editing, so I'm a little concerned. It once again is about a female, and
Mhm.
once again, it is told from a child's perspective, but it is more of an adult book because of the violence in it.
Okay.
People get shot, you know,
Oh,
and killed. That's the bad part. But it's somewhat based on my grandmother's life.
okay.
If I could trust my grandmother to tell the truth,
Mhm.
which I don't, so I kind of go with, well, it could have happened. And that's the way
Makes
I
a good
wrote it.
story.
Yeah, yeah, she tells a good story. Well, she used to say that this is the truth,
Mhm.
or this is the truth. Let's see
Mm.
if I can get it in and that if you stretch it a little bit this way and a little bit that way and move it around, it's more interesting. So,
Okay.
she always
So
stretched the
there
truth.
so there's some truth in it, but it may
Yeah,
not be 100%.
and it may not be what you think.
So that's book number 2. Anything further from that that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of things. I don't know what will come out of the one that I'm working on. It's sort of right now I've got it titled as lessons not to learn, the
Okay.
things that I learned that I shouldn't have, that you do that you shouldn't do. Uh,
Mhm.
and I was a bad child, so that's easy to do. And then I have a story that I'm kind of doing about my great great grandfather, who
Ooh.
was a Texas Ranger, and it's when he's older and he gets put in assisted living. So that's kind of an interesting thing. That's the first book that I've written that's about a male.
Okay. So was the first book, was that self-published or was that through a publisher?
It was through a publisher. It's published by Kinkajo,
Okay.
that's an imprint of I can't say it.
Okay.
Anyway, his name is Jeff. The publisher's name is Jeff
Mhm.
Havinger, and it will be in there somewhere. Let's see, it's AR, I don't know. I've got it somewhere. Anyhow, he's a really great guy.
Mhm.
He's a good publisher for a first time author.
Mhm.
He has answered all of my dumb questions. And I send him questions and I read his answers and I can almost hear his eyes rolling. But he doesn't say anything, but my questions are things like, "What is that? I don't know that word." I'm
Mhm.
an educator, I don't know that word. And he'll be like, "Okay, it's this." You can kinda hear him
Well,
going,
when you get into industry terms,
"Yes,
people tend to assume that everybody knows their industry terms, and acronyms and terms in one industry are not the same in another.
exactly."
So, you know, even though people are like, "Oh, they asked that question." Well, yeah, because they didn't know.
Yeah,
To me, there are no the only way I've ever gotten upset with questions is if I had just answered it for them.
yeah, yeah. They weren't
Other than
listening.
that, no.
Yeah,
If I just provided the answer and then they ask, I'm like, "You weren't paying attention."
yeah. So it's funny because the second group that I've gone with, they're a little less patient with me,
Okay.
and they'll say, you should have done it this way. And I'll go, well, I'm new at this. Sorry. You know,
This is only book number 2,
yeah,
so
I don't
there's
know.
that.
So, I've only ever had one publisher. So
Mhm.
what am I going to do? So, yeah, I thought I would self-publish eventually if I needed to, and I don't know about the 3rd book, the,
Okay.
lessons not to learn. I'm not sure if
Okay.
that's gonna be traditionally published or self-published, but I'm still working on it.
Well, it's always interesting to see and hear the different options and different publishers that everybody has and how they go about deciding which option to go with. And
Yeah, I'm more of a Western person. I grew
mhm.
up out west,
Okay.
um, so I'm not Southern. I don't write Southern. I'm
Mhm.
not gracious or sweet or kind or any of those things, so I'm kind of the Annie Oakley of the group. Um, I'm gonna shoot first and ask questions later. So, I've gone with publishers that are Western publishers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I appeal to the Southern ones that much.
You never know because some of us are transplants.
Yes, yes,
So
many of us are.
so you're in Georgia.
Yep.
Where are you originally from? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California,
Okay.
so, Idaho, Oregon, California, that area, and I used to go and visit my, as I call them, the cowboy cousins out in Idaho, so, I was used to shooting guns and riding horses and, I'm not that person anymore, but, I was at one point.
Mhm.
So I try to write about things where girls are more capable than they
Okay.
are in Southern literature,
Okay.
or at least that it seems.
Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to meet you in person. We're going to be joined by 31 other authors, and I think I've got at least one that's in the Atlanta Writers Club
Okay,
besides you. I think
good,
there's one other one. Um, but we've got 9 states that are going to be represented.
good.
So we're going to have a great variety. We've got around 51 genres and over 150 book titles. So
That's
we have
wonderful.
a little bit for everybody.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say about this book, and
Yes.
I really like it, the cover
Mhm.
was done by a friend of mine.
Oh.
Jeff said, go into a library, see what you like. And I said, well, I have a friend who's been reading this and he's an artist type and
Mhm.
kept telling me he knew what the cover would look like. And the back has where he's doodled about the dad and the older brother Brendan and so
Oh, nice.
it's kind of cool. Anyway, he throughout was reading it, and he's a horror writer, but he's
Okay.
an artist, so don't ask me how he did a smiling sunshine, but he did. Yeah.
He pulled it from his other
Yes, he
personality.
did, he did. And my son, who knows him fairly well, contacted me and he said, "Is this book really, is the artwork done by Justin? Because I know what he does." And I'm like, "Yeah,
It is.
yeah." So,
Justin has a split personality. He can
yep,
make really happy sunshines, but then there's the other side.
yep.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share about your book and your writing. And I can't wait to see you in October.
Thank you. Well, we're looking forward to being in South Carolina again. Our daughter went to Clemson, so for at least
Oh,
one of her degrees, so we are familiar with the area.
awesome. Well, I will see you in October.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right.